And we're back in my truck. So good morning. Just woke up on my way over to work. Gonna stop at the shop. I got a bunch of dirty filters in my truck. Gonna get rid of that stuff. But this is a day in the life of an HVAC tech. So this is what I actually do as an HVAC tech. So here we go. Yeah, look at all that frozen, all these frozen trees. We had some freezing fog last night, so everything is completely frosted, which is actually pretty cool. Coffee. Process of reorganizing my work truck, so it's kind of messy right now. Just throw this junk away. All right, so it's 26 degrees outside, and I got a no cool call. It is for an IT room. It's for a mini split. They said that it quit cooling. I don't know if it's at its operational range. We'll have to check. Hopefully that's the case. All right, so I'm on the roof. I just checked the mini split. It's not cooling. It's not blowing air. It's not doing anything. Got no error codes. It's a Daikin unit. So here's our unit. So we got to check it out. So it's 26 degrees out, and I'm working on an air conditioner. In reading the literature, it says that it only cools from 50 to 122 degrees. So there is a low ambient setting. There's like a jumper we got to cut. So I got to see if maybe that's been, make sure that that's actually been cut. So, and then we're going to take this whole thing apart and see what's up. So while I'm taking that unit apart, I want to talk to you guys about something. If you're trying to get into the HVAC career, and you're probably thinking that, oh, you got to do years of trade school and thousands of dollars. Well, it's 2026, and that's not necessarily the case anymore. We have CourseCareers HVAC program. It's completely online and totally affordable, and you do it on your own schedule. So it can take you up to 4 to 8 weeks. They get you job ready, not only giving you the HVAC fundamentals, but teaching you how to build your resume and how to win at your interview. They also have some job placement opportunities to help you find a company that's just right for you. So if this is something that sounds good to you and you don't want to spend thousands of dollars or years at trade school, CourseCareers is the training alternative to a trade school. So click on the links below or scan that QR code in the corner. All right, so if we're looking at our install manual here, you can see it says here that cutting jumper 7 on the PCB will extend the operational range to 14 degrees. So right now it's basically, it's locked out because it's below 50. And then by adding the wind baffle, that'll get us down to -4. So we have the wind baffle, so it looks like the jumper didn't get cut. So that's gonna be J7. So do we have J7? Yeah, it's not cut. So we need to cut that. So I've killed power. It's been off for a while. You're gonna want a set of small nippers like these, and we're gonna go ahead and cut that, and that should fix our issue. Okay, we got her all back together. Yep, she's back up and running. Those trees, that's just like freaking frost on the trees. Isn't that crazy? Makes the trees all white. Gotta love it. So need to get keys out of here, which are these, to get on the roof, and none of them work. Okay, so I'm on the other building. I got the key out of this one. Sometimes they don't put them back where they're supposed to, so we'll try this key. Nope. All right, so I got a hold of the property manager. He's on the way. He's gonna bring me a key. All right, so finally got onto the roof. This is our unit here, maybe. So the system says that it is in second stage heat, and it's only putting out 71 degrees or something on the discharge. And it's RTU1B. I don't think anything's labeled. All right, so the inducer did kick on. It's not lighting. I did hear something, so let's see what's up with that. All right, so we got the thing opened up, so we know the inducer works. Let's see if we got an error code. H4657. All right, H heat on low stage. And then 46, first stage combustion pressure switch open, and 57, second stage pressure switch open. Okay, so let's go ahead and reset this bad boy, and we'll go from there. So we did see the inducer kick on. So it's saying that the pressure switch is not closing, which is right here. Looks like there's only one. All right, we're gonna try blowing into it. All right, it is plugged. All right, let's see if I can blow through it now. Yep, definitely blowing through it, so that nipple might be dirty. Oh, yeah, it is plugged. Plug go. Plug go, I can barely get my nail in there. Jeez. All right, cool. Go ahead and throw our hose back. Yep, I'm able to blow through it now. So since I got this open, we're gonna go ahead and clean that flame sensor and probably do that spark igniter too. Okay, I ended up cleaning the burner assembly. It was pretty dusty, but anyway, we got that all put back together. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up and see if she works. There we go. Oh yeah, we got fire. On to the next call. All right, so we're on a PM here. So we've been having to take the pipe out every single time to change filter, but it's starting to get kind of jagged and messed up. You're not supposed to tape these things because the adhesive will just dry out, it peels off and it starts leaking anyway. But the adhesive, it's, you know, it burns and it's not a good smell. You don't want to be breathing that in either, so I'm gonna fix this. Look at that, see, it's all just beat up and bent, so it's not making a good seal anymore. And who knows the condition of that. We'll see in a minute. Look what I found when I peeled the tape. It's not even on. So yeah, that's why you don't want to put tape, because stuff like that. Yeah, see, it's all corroded and falling apart anyway, so. All fixed, no more tape, filter comes out. Good to go. So we got this Daikin Doa, or Doa, right? Daikin Doa? I don't know. Anyway, it's dedicated fresh air package unit thingy. I'm here on a PM, I just changed the filters, and those are actually the dirty ones. They're like freaking clean. So I came out here and it looks like we got an active alarm. I got an airflow fault. So we need to see what's going on with that. So we see, oh, hello, look at that. We got something stripped. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and kill the power. We'll get that reset and we'll go from there. All right, I'm gonna turn that off and go ahead and reset this guy. And then we shall go from there. Now there is another company that's installing an LG VRV system, or I'm sorry, VRF, because we got Daikin VRFs all day long here. But then they add that one LG multi-V, whatever the heck they call it. Whole building is Daikin except that new one that's going in. That's going to be covering one suite. So yeah, that should be good. Anyway, so yeah, we got the power reset, we got the breaker reset. Let's go ahead and we'll go in here and start cycling some stuff. So, all right, so we got our Micro Tech 3 control. This is the MT3006. So let's see what we got going on with this bad boy here. First things first, we need to get into our mode so we can actually do stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna enter our password. Now for every single one of these units, the password is 6363. And just to show you, you can see there's only one of 4, so there's only 4 pages we can go through. So what we do is we enter our password, which is 6363, and now you can see we have one of 16 pages. So that's gonna give us more options here. So we are gonna go back into our alarm here. We got rid of the active alarm. Airflow fault, so we got a bunch of airflow faults. This is pretty much somebody killed the power because they had a comm issue. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear it. So we go to the very top, we select that, we hit that to yes, and then boom. And every time you do a PM, especially if you fixed a fault or whatnot, it's probably a good idea, especially after you kill the power, to clear out your log. And we can see now it's at 0, and if we go back into it, it's all gone. So that way we know that there's nothing new. And then we're gonna go into manual control, and this allows us to turn things on. So you can see it's set to normal. We have to change that to man control. Now we can start doing stuff. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and turn on our supply fan. All right, now we have to set the speed we want. We're gonna go at we'll do it. Let's do 100. Well, we'll go 90% because I don't want to like blow everyone's hats off. And okay, so we'll wait till she turns on and see what happens. Okay, so our fan is spinning. I can feel air moving through. All right, so our economizer, we're gonna go ahead and try to open that up. And let's see what that does. All right, so we're testing our economizer just to make sure that these dampers are opening and closing. So I have 100% economy, so that means it's 100% fresh air. And it looks like it is functioning. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and kick on some compressors. So I'm gonna turn this one here. I'm gonna put that one on. And inverted compressor, we wanna turn that on. Now we need to set the percentage. So keep in mind when you set this, it's gonna immediately go back to 0 because now it's showing you, it's monitoring, you know, what the actual speed of it is. Yeah, so you got to set the percentage first, then turn it on. Now you can see it drop to 0, but it's actually going to ramp up to 100. So right now it's not doing anything, so it's showing it's at 0%. As it kicks on, and it takes a while, this will start changing as the compressor starts to ramp up. Okay, I heard a click. You can see now our compressor compressor speed has changed to 36, 86. So now it's showing the actual, the actual percentage it's in right now. Now, sometimes they'll have 2 inverted compressors. Sometimes they'll have 1 inverted and 1 standard. This comp 3 is to turn on the standard one because it's pretty much on or off. And this one does have a standard compressor, which I believe is this one. Yep. So this is the inverted one. This is the standard scroll. So we turn that on comp 3. So we know that's all working. Now keep in mind when we're in manual control, you're going to get error codes. Usually it's going to show that you have a communication problem, which is this right here. And that's just because when we're in manual control, it bypasses all the communication system. So you might have to clear that when we're done. But don't worry, that's normal. I wouldn't be too worried about it if you're getting comm errors while you're doing this. Once we go back to normal mode, it should be fine. Let's see. Cool. So to turn on the heat, well, actually we want to turn on that heat wheel. So you see E-Rec wheel. We want to go ahead and turn that on. We'll make sure it spins. Okay, so you can see that our heat recovery wheel is indeed spinning. So everything seems to be working fine. I don't know why we were having an airflow issue. It's possible that maybe somebody covered up the return because there is a lot of construction going on in there. Now we want to turn on our heat. So there's 2 things here. You have gas heating on off. So you got to turn that on first, okay? So there's 2 valves on this burner system. That's the on-off valve right there, and this is the modulating valve. So there's 2 separate valves going on there. This first one will turn the on-off valve on, and it'll kick on, all the stuff, and then this will set the second valve of how much modulation it's going to allow. So I'm doing 100%. So let's go make sure that that's working. And, and the reason why there's soot everywhere is I don't remember if I released this video, but when I came out here when they first built the building, because this building's like pretty new, they were getting the sulfur and brimstone smell inside, and it turned out that this regulator right here went bad. So I had like 2 psi going into that thing. And so the gas pressure was super crazy. So it was super rich, burning super rich, and it just sooted up everything. I ended up replacing that with that one, adjusting it down, adjusting everything there. So everything's good now. But yeah, so that's why there's all this stuff in there too. So anyway, heater works. We'll go ahead and close her up. I don't know why there was an airflow error. The filters were clean, there's no restriction, all the dampers are opening and closing normally, so that's pretty much how you can do a manual control of this guy. Okay, so now that we're done with all our tests, we want to go ahead and put it back into normal mode. So we go back here where it goes to manual control, and we're going to go ahead and put that on normal. Alright, we're going to go back, and we are going to go up to, what is it called? All the way up to right here, unit status, no, control mode. Yeah, control mode, we have it off. So that's how we can, change the mode. So if we need to do that, we can put it on heat only, we can put it on cool only, fan only, heater cool, or we can let the BAS do it, which is what we're doing. So we're gonna select that. And now it's back in normal mode. We're gonna go here And you can see that because we were doing stuff, it created a bunch of codes things. So we're gonna go ahead and clear that because we're done. So we're not gonna be causing any more error codes. And we'll just double check 00, no more codes, sweet. All right, so we'll just let her do its thing. And that, my friends, is what it's actually like to be an HVAC technician. As you can see, it's quite a lot of different things, running service calls, driving around town, seeing some crazy stuff, and some fixing some stuff, and sometimes not fixing some stuff, and sometimes having to go back and fix it later. So hopefully you found this video interesting, and hopefully it gives you an idea of what it's like to be a HVAC technician. Definitely includes a lot of driving, as you can see. So anyway, hopefully you like this video, and make sure you check out our sponsor, CourseCareers. As you can see, there's the QR code. Scan that, click on the links, and check it out for you, because you can actually start that course for free. And if it's something that works out for you and you like it, you can go ahead and pay for the whole thing. So I really kind of like the fact that you can try it out first and see what you think. But I was quite surprised with how detailed it is, and I would say it's a very good course, and it will give you a good foundation of the basics of HVAC, and with that career placement program to help you find a job, help you tailor the perfect resume, and how to win at your interviews. So anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment, tell me what a horrible technician I am, hit that bell notification, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you start your free course at CourseCareers.com. Thanks for watching.